What's up, guys? I wanted to make a video about the OneGX Pro. Some of the front ends that you can possibly use in order to play your retro games. First of all, I want to give a shout out to MVA. He makes these cool sliders, very cool sliders that you slide onto the OneGX Pro, where you can then slide on any Joy-Con to, which is pretty nice because you can that opens up a lot of possibilities for controllers. So if you have a controller, a particular Joy-Con controller that you want to use on Windows, and you can actually mount it to the device, and if you don't like this one, you can always get another one, and vice versa. It makes it a little bit more replaceable than the OneGX Pro controllers and having to send that in order to replace it. Personally, I like these controllers a lot more, and if you guys want, I'm going to link his channel in the description so you could check out his channel. He does a lot of cool things, and this is just one of them. He's also a huge part of the OneGX Pro community in the Discord, so you guys can join the Discord too if y'all want to get more information about that. But he does sell these, and he 3D prints these, and they're really nice. So because of that, I will never be using the OneGX Pro's regular controllers. I'm just going to use it like this, and this fills in all the gaps, the things that were missing from the original controller, like the D-pad. This is not the best D-pad, but the beautiful thing about the rails is that you have diversity. If you don't like these pads, you can try another controller and try another controller until you find the controller that you really like, and it slides right on there. Okay, so the main thing about this video I wanted to show you guys are the front ends that I have here. Someone asked me what kind of front ends do I recommend for the OneGX Pro, and I have a few things here, so I'm gonna load them up and show you guys what we got going on. So let's start off with Emulation Station. Okay, so I have an Emulation Station pre-done front end, which is Emulation Station for PC. And it has quite a few games on it, quite a few systems, a really nice UI. And we got some Capcom games, CPS 1, 2, and 3, Cave, we got Atomic Wave, Sega Naomi Arcade, SG-1000, Master System, Mega Drive, Sega 32X, Nintendo. So I got pretty much all the retro games that you can imagine. And remember, and this is a RetroBat. So RetroBat is like a variant of Emulation Station, but for PC. So I have a ton of games on here for multiple different systems, but this is basically just a bare bones start you off with something kind of front end. So let me load something to show you guys it works. This is stuff I've played before. Let's load something I haven't played before. Capcom vs. SNK 2. So I don't know how good my audio is going to be. It's because when I record with my phone, I don't have a microphone set up. So my voice is probably going to be faded in the background. And maybe you guys are not going to be able to hear the game sound. But at least the quality is a little bit better than when I use my webcam. So most of these are set up. There are some games that I haven't completely set up, but just for the interest of showing you guys that the game does load from the front end. And we add a quarter in by pressing select.
Versus SNK2. This is the first dream event of the 21st century. If you're great, I knew that groove was in your heart. Fighting 2001. What an incredible.
Now I'm not that used to this D-pad yet, because I recently got these Joy-Cons, but I'm willing to get used to it. Because the D-pad on the OneGX Pro is really not that good for fighting games. It's a little bit better on these Joy-Cons.
Live and let die. Fight.
So let me figure out what is the controls here. Okay. Sorry that the camera is a little shaky. I actually have my phone mounted to me, so it's a lot shakier than it was when it was stationary. But just wanted to show you guys so you can get the picture. And I'm getting a wild phone call while I'm making this video. Fortunately, we can't answer that. Alright, and then whenever you're done playing the game, all you have to do is, with RetroBat, you press start and select. And you're right back in the menu. There's also a shortcut for saving and everything, but that's pretty cool. I just wanted to show you guys that. That's the first front end I recommend if you're trying to set up a retro situation or a really nice front end for your stuff. So, press start, quit, and we're out of RetroBat, aka Emulation Station for PC. Now, another front end I have here is Hyperpie 2. Now there's Hyperpie PC and then there's Hyperpie 2. The one I have on here is Hyperpie 2, which is one of the latest versions. And this guy keeps calling me over and over. I didn't answer the first time. So if Hyperpie doesn't load, that's probably because the SD card I have in here, I have it set up to, yeah, I have it set up to H drive. Okay, it is loading. Okay, now with Hyperpie, for those who know anything about Hyperspin, it's basically like Hyperspin, but with a little less work going on as far as animations are concerned. So it's more video based, as you can see. So with this Hyperpie, I have a lot of stuff set up. Obviously, I haven't had time to fully set everything up with all the packs and everything. But it's a really nice front end if you want to play a whole ton of games. And I haven't filled this up, so I'm basically using the SD card for all of these things. See, I have CPS 1, 2, and 3 games on here. And I got all the trailers, all the previews and everything. Just wanted to show you guys it does have all the artwork. The 7th time dude is calling me. Come on. I'll call him back. Alright, let's see. Well, that's the thing about recording with the phone. People call you. Alright, I'm not sure what to really showcase. I'm just basically showcasing the front end. So let's go to consoles so you guys can see what we got here. So it goes all the way to A to Z. So we got Atari 2600, and each of them have their own little intro video, which is pretty nice. Hyperpie for PC is really good. I definitely recommend it. I wouldn't recommend it over Hyperspin. Nothing beats Hyperspin. So we got all the Ataris, ColecoVision, Commodore, Vectrex, PC Engine CD, PCFX, SuperGrafx, TurboGrafx CD. Then we got Nintendo Famicom Disc, Super Nintendo. And by the way, all of these games are there. As you can see, it has all of the artwork. You can play them on the fly, and it'll just boot from the emulator. Now, every OneGX Pro does not have SD card capability. Unfortunately, you'll be lucky if you have functioning SD card slot. But I was one of the lucky ones that pre-ordered it when it first came out. And the SD card is working just fine, so I put a 1 terabyte in there and loaded it up with all these games. As you see, even though I got the artwork, some of these systems do not have games at all. That's because I haven't put the packs in there. But I have plenty of RetroPies that I could just drag and drop the packs to. So it'll be all there once I do that. N64. Yeah, I have a whole bunch of N64 games there. But it's just a really nice front end that you can put all your things on. It's got all systems pretty much. Every system that can run on PC, including Wii U and Wii. Because you're limited on SD card space, you only, I didn't put any Dreamcast games on there, but I could. But I'm limited on space, so I had to get rid of most of the CD games. I have some PlayStation games on there, not all, of course. But I got the artwork for all of them. PlayStation 2, I haven't added any because due to lack of space on the SD card. PlayStation 3, you guys know that I have the PlayStation 3 emulator. I just haven't integrated it in this. Xbox 360 is not really that many Xbox 360 games that run on PC, to my knowledge, or that run on this. But it is all there, so if you wanted to make one yourself, it's really nice. And they have a lot of different areas where you can, put your Steam games. You can link your Steam library. All of these things, Mugen. So, computers, they got a lot of stuff. It's a really nice attract mode, So surely recommend this front end. I just wanted to show you guys. And for this, we just go to exit attract mode. And we're out of that. So the first one I mentioned to you was RetroBat. The second one was Hyperpie 2, as you see there. Alright. Those are the two I have on my SD card. I believe I have another front end. No, I haven't. Did I put that on there? No. Okay, so now the other two front ends I have, which is up here, BigBox and Hyperspin, I actually have a setup for that that's not on the device itself. So I have a 5 terabyte hard drive. Okay. So my Hyperspin is pretty damn big. So it doesn't fit. So my Hyperspin was 12 gigs. I'm sorry, 12 terabytes. And I had to narrow it down to Western Digital's 5 terabyte drive. And I put some Velcro on the back, some really strong Velcro. So the reason why I have those other front ends is when I do not feel like mounting a drive to the back, then I have something to fall back on. That's why those front ends aren't complete. They don't have as many systems as this does. I mean, Hyperpie 2 has a lot of systems, but not as many systems as I have here on Hyperspin and BigBox. So I've narrowed down a 12 terabyte to a 5 terabyte by getting rid of all the PS2, the GameCube, the PSP games, because those are all really big games. And I had the full ROM sets on there. And that was all I had to do. Everything else is on there. 3DS, Wii U, Wii, you name it, it's on there. And in order to use that, all I have to do is spin this over to the back, where I have the 2 Velcro pieces there, not covering the fan or anything. Right? Place it right on there. And then we have this cord where we just plug into the USB port, 3.0 port in the back. Now I have another way of getting this cord in there real nice and neat behind the thing. If you notice, there was a gap in between my 2 Velcro pieces. Usually I squeeze it in there, but for the interest of getting into the into the video without doing any of that crazy stuff, I just wanted to show you guys. So as soon as I plug it in, it will automatically recognize, because I already have the paths and everything set up to it so that it works here. All I have to do now is refresh. Excuse my blurry camera. Well, usually once I refresh the Hyperspin, oh yeah, you know what, I modified Hyperspin. So let me show you guys what I did also. So Hyperspin is Hyperspin. So what I did was I installed HyperSearch so that I can, because I was planning to do broadcasting of old school retro games off of this device while I was live, but I realized that YouTube doesn't allow me to do live broadcasts on my phone unless I have 1,000 subscribers or something. And I'm not a huge YouTuber, so I don't know when the hell I'm going to get 1,000 subscribers or how long that's going to take. But I'm not really you know, blindly enthusiastic. So since I'm not going to do that, what I did was kind of pointless, but it was useful for me actually. So Hyperspin, I created a batch file, right? I don't know if you guys are familiar with Hypersearch, but Hypersearch is a part of Hyperspin is a third-party version, the app that allows you to search. Because the problem with Hyperspin is you have thousands and thousands of games, you can't search. So Hypersearch is an application that must be running in the background when you're running Hyperspin. So what I did was I manually created a bat file, okay, and that's where I'm going to boot Hyperspin from. If you look here, my drive says R, start R, tools, Hypersearch exe, and start Hyperspin. So this batch file is basically telling my computer that once I run that batch file, it's going to start both Hypersearch and Hyperspin. If Hypersearch is not running in the background, you cannot search Hyperspin for a particular game. And you just have to go through the whole library, the whole forest of terror. So right now I'm going to double click Hyperspin. The bat file will load. If you look down at the bottom, Hypersearch is there. Okay. And now I have my whole Hyperspin running from the USB hard drive. Now, I do a lot of videos on Hyperspin. Oh yeah, you know what? I forgot one thing. Forgot one small little thing. But I can show you guys the search anyway. Yeah, I don't got my controls set up. So I can only show you guys basically the little systems I have. But of course, if you have the space, you can make your own Hyperspin. Hyperspin is pretty much the triple OG front end for emulation on PC. It's pretty much the best. The only thing I didn't set up is my controls, because the controls are with Xpatter, and I'm supposed to boot Xpatter before I boot Hyperspin, and I forgot about that. So I just show y'all some of the stuff I have on here. I got Nintendo Classics, I got Sonics, I got freaking every arcade system. Anything you could think of, Hyperspin got it all. The only thing I took out, like I said, was the PSP, PS2, and PSP, PS2, and GameCube, I think. I took about 3 systems out that I can replace and just put on one of those front ends I have on the SD card. But yeah, there's a whole ton of systems here, guys. Can never, run out of fun playing this stuff. But anyway, I wanted to show you guys Hypersearch. Hypersearch, all I have to do is press spacebar. Now that I have Hypersearch integrated, and before you can't search. If you don't have Hypersearch, you cannot search all your games. And let's say I wanted to play Marvel vs. Capcom, right? Now, hold on, I have to click the little search bar. Okay. And I wanted to play Marvel vs. Capcom, right? Bear with me, guys. I'm looking through through the lens of the camera, so I don't lose the make sure the camera doesn't sway away from the screen. So Marvel vs. Capcom, all right? Let's say I only wanted to play Marvel vs. Capcom, but I want to play the arcade version, not the Dreamcast version, right? So what you do, you go there and you press search, right? Oops, backspace. Okay, and you press search. Okay, you press enter to search. Okay, I must have spelled something wrong. What did I do? Marvel versus, yeah, I put Capcom. Yeah, that was my mistake, because I'm looking through the TV, through the phone, and not through the actual thing. So Capcom, simple as spelling. All right, and then you make sure you scroll down and press search, because apparently click and search doesn't work. All right, and this will show you everything that they read as Marvel vs. Capcom. For some reason, Mugen only comes up as Marvel vs. Capcom, which is not actually Marvel vs. Capcom. So what I have to do is put Marvel hyper search Marvel, and then all of Marvel vs. Capcom will come up, because it could be abbreviated or something. So let's scroll back down. Yeah, you don't need to get too specific. Okay, there you go. And it'll show the little preview for each one. So if you look here, the systems on the top and the games are at the bottom. You see, these are all the games. If you scroll left and right, it's gonna show you all the systems. You see? So this is Dreamcast, Marvel vs. Capcom, Marvel vs. Capcom 2. If you were looking for a particular type of Marvel vs. Capcom, you know what I mean? And then this is Pinball. I don't think that would be what you were looking for, but what if you were, you know? Okay, and then you got Genesis, Marvel Land, Sega Naomi, Marvel vs. Capcom. So that's already another version of Marvel vs. Capcom. They got Dreamcast, Marvel vs. Capcom, Sega Naomi, Marvel vs. Capcom. We got Marvel vs. Street Fighter. And we got Marvel Superheroes for PlayStation. Was that PlayStation 1? Can't really see. Looks like PlayStation 1. Yeah. So you got Marvel Superheroes, Marvel vs. Street Fighter, Marvel vs. Capcom from PS1. And then you got these. This is PlayStation 2. Marvel vs. Capcom 2 from PS2. PSP. And we got, what is that? Super Nintendo. Right? Or you can just go to all and just check them all. But at least it tells you what system and what. And you can load it right from here. So I don't want to load Mugen because I'm going to be stuck in it. I don't have controls at the moment. So let's load CPS2 Marvel Superheroes, right? So regardless of what you're doing here, it'll automatically load that game, which is pretty nice. And for the most part, I don't have any issues loading games from my Hyperspin. My Hyperspin was, I spent more time doing Hyperspin than anything else. All the rest of this stuff is new. But I can't really show you guys the gameplay since I don't have my controls mapped at the moment. So I gotta fix that later today. But anyway, press escape and we're back to the menu. And it doesn't alter anything. And you can continue scrolling. But anyway, I strongly recommend that you set yourself up a Hyperspin, because you can really put everything on there. Yeah, I think I got all the Wii U games on here too. I think, is that one? Yeah. Yeah, I got 3DS running on here too. Obviously, this whole setup will run faster on your drive, on your SSD, okay? But it runs just good enough on this as well. Okay, so let's get out of that. We also got BigBox. So BigBox is the last front end I'm gonna show you. BigBox is two different front ends. There's BigBox and there's LaunchBox, but BigBox is like the track mode version of LaunchBox. So let's load up BigBox real quick so I can show you guys the last front end before we end the video. I don't know if I double clicked it or not, so let's double click again. But yeah, all I have to do is click this and I'm all set up with controls. I just didn't do that before I launched the game. That's why I was telling you guys my controls aren't set up. But BigBox has the same controls I set up here. So at least I'll be able to navigate the menus and stuff without having to press the keyboard, which is not a big deal anyway. But yeah, there's a lot of ways you can customize it. These are just the front ends I recommend. There are other front ends too that I didn't get a chance to try out. But I'm going to finish dragging and dropping all of my... I'm going to drag and drop all my Hyperspin games folders into the RetroBat. Okay, so now we should have controls for the controller, which we do now. So BigBox is also a nice front end. But you do have to buy a license for BigBox, which I did. It's a one-time purchase, so I didn't mind doing it. But all the rest of the front ends are free, so it's up to you what you like. So BigBox is a little bit more slower paced, video based front end. It has really nice music. I really like the way it looks. But it's not as chaotic looking, I would say, as Hyperspin. It's a little bit more of a calmer, smoother, enjoyable look. And BigBox has everything that Hyperspin has. And it's using my same folders. So everything I have on Hyperspin, it'll load on BigBox. Although I should update my BigBox because it's a little outdated compared to Hyperspin. And the games are all there, so you don't have to worry about it not being there. Only thing I took out, like I said, guys, was the PS2 games. And I took out, but I can still attach them to these emulators. All I have to do is change the path to my SSD that's built into the device. And then just put my hand-picked games in there instead of putting a whole ROM set. Because PS2 games are 4 gigs each. You don't want to be wasting a lot of space doing ROM set stuff. It was PS2, PSP, and GameCube I had to get rid of. And believe it or not, that took out, from a 12 terabyte hard drive, that took out 6 terabytes by itself. So anyway, let's load up a game. Let's go to arcade, I guess. No, that's the wrong arcade. I got 2 different ones. Oh, we don't have to do arcade. Yeah, there's another one here. That's the right one. Oh yeah, start. In this thing, start. Start goes into it. And then you got all the box art. Well, most of the box art. Okay, there we go. And the little previews. Not all of them have videos. I don't know which version of MAME is here, so let's play something that looks familiar. Superman. But yeah, BigBox is a really nice front end. It's best to have all the front ends and just have all the folders seeking that one area, so you don't have to pick and choose. I've actually never played this. Alright. What the hell creature is this? What the? Probably not the best arcade game I've ever played. It's a little stiff. But the beauty of having a mixture of stuff is, and playing arcade, is that you got infinite quarters. So you can just go nuts. This looks like a whole bunch of flashes that are flying. What the hell is this? Anyway, to get out of this, you just press R3. I have it set up that way. R3 is back. Back again. Back again. And then exit. Exit. Oh, I didn't do it correctly. Okay, exit. And just press enter because I don't know what button. Alright guys, that just wanted to show you guys some potential front ends for the OneGX Pro if you're looking to, you know, play some retro games on it. Instead of just running one emulator at a time, you can use these front ends in order to enjoy it. Alright, thanks for watching. Pretty sure I bored the hell out of you, but at least hopefully I gave you some ideas on other things you could do other than running, you know, emulators individually and running PC games and all of that. And this is stuff, you know, if you're into retro games like me, that you can put the battery on low and probably get 6 hours out of. Okay, well, thank you for watching, and I will see you guys later.